Bannayuganda abawangalira mu ggwanga lya Sweden olunaku olwaleero bakedde kwekalakaasa nga babanja gavumenti ya MUSEVENI abaana 18 abaabuzibwawo ab'ekibiina ki National Unity Platform. Bano abaana 18 babanjiziddwa ebbanga ddene. Bannayuganda bazzenga bababanja okuli John Bosco Kibalama ne banne. Nabbanja Prime Minister wa Uganda yavaayo n'agamba alina John Bosco Kibalama, naye n'okutuusa olwaleero tamuleetangako mu kkooti, tamuwanga baffamire ye, wabula ye yakyogera n'akireka awo. Naye amateeka ga Uganda okumanya gatwalibwa mu ngalo, tebaamufaako n'olunaku olwaleero akyayinaayina tagambwako, naye nga yakireiminga omuntu abuze emyaka egisoba 4 nti yamuyina. Naye gavumenti teyafaayo wadde okwebuuza oba omuyina wamuteekawa, kubanga wadde oli Prime Minister naye era osigala oli munnayuganda ng'oli civilian, tolina lukusa luwamba muntu yenna. Kati bano babukeerezza nkokolo olunaku olwaleero nga babanja gavumenti ya MUSEVENI abaana bano, kubanga abasinga ku bo balina abazadde, abamu balina famire, bataata ne bamaama. Famire zaabwe zibonaabona wano, newankubadde ekibiina ki National Unity Platform kigezaako okuyamba famire zaabwe, naye tosobola kuyambira muntu bbanga lyonna, ate era tosobola kussaawo newankubadde otuyamba mu bintu bya ssente, toyinza kuzibikira kituli kya muzadde eri omwana we. Naye bano bakedde okwekalakaasa olunaku olwaleero nga babanja gavumenti ya MUSEVENI abaana bano. Gavumenti ya MUSEVENI ebaddengawo ku ssente z'abazungu ebbanga lyonna nga bagezaako okugiwa obuyambi, kubanga bano balaga ekifaananyi ekirungi eri abazungu, naye nga wano mu ggwanga Uganda babonyaabonya bantu. His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu agezezzaako nnyo okulaga abazungu ekifaananyi kya MUSEVENI ekituufu ne Uganda entuufu kye ki. Uganda erina ebyobugagga bingi, yandibadde yeeyagala bulungi nga teyeetaaga na buyambi bw'abazungu, naye olw'abo abatufuga, engeri gye batufugamu nti bo beenoonyezaamu byabwe, baagala kunyagulula nsi bagireke nga nkalu, ensonga lwaki tubona bannayuganda ababonaabona. Naye bano His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu agezezzaako nnyo okuba omulanga eri abazungu balekeraawo okugabira abantu, okugabira MUSEVENI ssente, naye n'abantu bennyini abawangalira ebweru w'eggwanga bakoze kyamaanyi nnyo okwekalakaasa okusobola okukolesa ebikolwa bya MUSEVENI. Era bwe twogerera essaawa eno bagenze bamufufuggaza ekitundu ekinene ekisinga abazungu bamuggyamu obwesigwa, tebakyamuwa ssente kuba abazungu bakkiririza nnyo mu ddembe ly'obuntu, ate nga MUSEVENI yeeyita freedom fighter, naye nga ate ebikolwa bye madala tagambwako, ate mulabu temuziba Uganda.
Yes, good afternoon all of you here, and a lot of you were watching us from all social media partners. The names are Robert, and as my colleague earlier put it, we're here to demonstrate. So what are we demonstrating about? A lot of you are not aware, but we are Ugandans and we represent the Ugandan diaspora. So as Ugandans living in diaspora, we are trying to add our voice to the voiceless. To give you some context as to why we are protesting, I think it has become very evident that no one back home is really advocating for change, especially for the whereabouts of these people. Some of us who are living in Europe, especially EU, we want to add a voice on that. Why? Because we pay taxpayers' money. So we've dubbed our demonstration today as the missing 18 Ugandans. And the other part of the theme is to do with funded by the Swedish taxpayers' money. And where does Sweden come into the picture? To give you some context in that, our leading our politicians, especially the General MUSEVENI, was here in Sweden back in the 80s. I guess he was groomed in Sweden, and Sweden is giving them a lot of support, which is fine. Would like any support from all developmental partners. So unfortunately, excuse me? Excuse me?
While you are talking, I'm going to bring something.
So yes, guys, I guess I'm back live. So what I was saying is that the reason this is really emotion for us is because Ugandan and the General MUSEVENI was here in Sweden. We would expect as Ugandans, or we would expect the General MUSEVENI to have learned something to replicate in Uganda. Sweden as a country which is a symbol of human rights. What comes to mind when you speak about Sweden is because it is a country which observes rule and law. Unfortunately, for someone who was in Sweden for 6 years, I don't think he's really picked a leaf for the time he was in Uganda. Hello? Hello? Did it work?
I think so.
Hello? Hello? So guys, we're back now on our mic. So just to take you back, we're talking about General MUSEVENI. He was in Sweden for 6 years, and we would expect as Ugandans that General MUSEVENI would have picked a leaf in terms of observing human rights. So the demonstration today is really cutting down on the gross human rights abuse in Uganda. So it's really, really disturbing for a country like Uganda to be facing this kind of nightmare. As you can see here, we're few of us. A lot of these people are here because they really feel hard and they want hard approach to their brothers and sisters who are missing. So why I'm so many people is because I think back home, General MUSEVENI has created fear, and we find ourselves like, it's the same thing in Europe. Most of the people here in Europe are really held hostage. The other day I was passing by one of our colleagues, Ugandan. I told him we're going to be trying to add voices. Do you know what he told me? He told me like, I'm for change, but tell you what, I don't want to speak about change in terms of why. I'm going to be scared today that it will pick me at the end. So that's the predicament most of the Ugandans in diaspora find themselves in. And it's not only in Uganda, and it's not only in Europe, even in Uganda, it's really disturbing that the populace have been scared to death, that they can't add a voice to the voiceless because they're scared to death. They will be picked up, they will be incarcerated, they will be tortured, they will disappear, and that's the reason we're here. So our voice goes to the EU. The EU is a development partner, and the EU has a lot of development partners, as I said. Our message goes to Ursula von May, the president of the EU, to throw some light to Uganda, because Uganda really needs a voice, especially from these leading institutions there. So what is really disturbing at the moment as well is that as we are looking for our loved ones in Uganda, we have organizations like NAM. For those who don't know NAM is an organization influenced the non-aligned movement member states. These are all institutions which were created post-colonial time, whereby they were showing the brushing off the colonial era, and they were trying to get civility within their respective countries. So what is disturbing that so many heads of state landing in Uganda, and next week we talked about God knows what. And my question would be, do these people know that the country they are going to have this movement, this non-aligned movement symposium, is really having information that is valid? So for the Swedish community, we also need to ask of you to put to taste, to demand of your politicians, to know where your taxpayers' money is going. And the other thing we would like the Swedish community to know is what projects they are driving, the government is driving. We've seen a lot of Swedish projects, especially in northern Uganda, where we've seen a number of our brothers and sisters being evicted from land. That is very un-Swedish for a country which pioneers civility and rule. So that's something we need to probably at some point digest into. But today, the demonstration is about the missing agents. So who are the missing agents? I want you to follow me here. We've done a showcase of these 18 Ugandans. And the first one we would like to present to you is none other than John Bosco Chigalama. This is a gentleman who was abducted in 2019 prior to the Uganda general elections. As you can see here, this gentleman as of now is aged 42 years. He was an accountant.